An undead is here. Morgan is looking for Alicia. Storm kills undead for him. He checks the truck, gets up, and peeks inside. Then opens it from behind, checks for undeads, and gets up, closing its door. Lights up a lantern and finds the same box of take what you need. Puts on a shawl and takes protein bars. Enjoys them with water. He wakes up to the sound of an undead, takes his wood, opens the door, and kills. Storm is gone, and it's so lovely outside. He's in Mississippi. Gets into a store and checks for people or undeads. Coffee machine is still on. He turns on the entire lights. There's a radio sound. A woman asks for Polar Bear. He answers. She asks his name. He tells her that he reached here on a truck. She asks the location. It's too far. She says, feel it as your home, take what you need, leave what you don't, and cuts off. He takes protein bars, water, and a walkie and finds Virginia on the map. Finds coffee and takes a sip here. Gets to the bathroom, sees himself, and turns on the water. He finds a magazine. Someone is outside. Morgan says he liked it as an apartment. He asks if someone said, take what you need. He says, who you talked to on the radio? Stevie forgets to tell that she talked to a visitor. She is his twin sister. They know all roads and transport stuff as before the apocalypse. Sarah asks Wandell to put down the gun. They have solar panels, water pumps, and satellite TV. Morgan asks if they have more places like this. He tells them that he's going to the east in Virginia. They tell him that they saved him from a hurricane and have brought him 400 miles to Virginia. They tried 6 different routes to get from Beaumont to Lafayette. Morgan says his people are there. Wandell says, they were. My pet dog Bentley died. Morgan says, I can't convince you to take me there. Wandell says, we're nothing without the truck, and it will not make it there. He tells him that there's a bridge just north of where CCT Highway used to be. You can use it. On his way, he kills an undead and goes deeper into the forest, where an undead is stuck in mud and sees a take what you leave box. He keeps going on the road. While he reaches the bridge, he can't step forward, remembering what Sarah and Wandell said, and runs back. He stops and thinks and radios to ask them which road is clear. The bridge is gone. I'm thinking if you can take me there where I want to go, they ask. Then what about your friends? He says, the bridge is gone. Sarah runs over an undead on the road. Sarah tells Morgan to meet them at the next stop, 911 64 miles away. This is the last station in this area, and I'm sorry that you can't help them. He gets to a point where the next sign is fallen. He sees a man running from undeads. He gets out of the car to help him. His face is covered. Morgan kills all the undead, gets him up, and removes his cover. He uncuffs him and tells him that he has water and food. The man tells him that those who kidnapped him locked him in his own warehouse because they wanted a beer recipe from him. He tells him he has a brewery named Augie's Ale, and he makes beer. He says, do you know what I have? My future. Even the Ice Age couldn't erase us. What we lost, we'll rebuild. It'll happen, so I make beer. Morgan says, where I'm going, trying to build in Virginia. He invites him to come along if he would like to. They reach the truck, get out, and they are behind them as they tell them on the radio. Jim runs. Wandell shows him the gun, and Sarah says thanks. Morgan asks, whose truck is this? Sarah says, we left him somewhere in Texas at some 1-mile sign where he was putting signs. He puts up those signs which end at 4. Morgan says, you can help people with these boxes. Sarah asks, where is that place of yours? They call him Jimbo. They have maps and journeys, and they are curious to go there. They set their truck towards Virginia. Jimbo checks the stuff and says, I can make beer on a small scale. This woman came to my brewery and pretended to be my big fan. I can make it now. He says, these are greedy. When they see profit, they will switch sides. When this world was all right, I made a deal to sell my brewery to a multinational company to become rich. But just a few days later, these undeads arose and messed up my plans. Now I want to take it all back. Beer has made history. We are back in that era where people need beer. The truck hits a broken road. Sarah opens the back and orders them to unload some weight. They unload. Jimbo says, I'll not give you my recipe, but if that place Morgan told us about exists, I'll make beer for you. Sarah uncuffs him. There are undead down the slope behind the bushes. As Jimbo runs to take his chiller, he falls and pushes Morgan down among the undead. He runs and gets up to a vehicle. Sarah says, Jimbo, you killed him. They want to know where that place exists. John tells them halfway. She wants him to tell the entire way. He tells them. Now he asks them to help him. Jimbo says he doesn't do such things, and Wandell and Sarah say the same. Sarah says, we know that the bridge is not broken. Jimbo leaves with them, leaving Morgan alone. Darkness falls. Morgan turns the walkie on and says, you don't need to do this. You can come back. Now listen to me. I could have gone to the bridge, but here I got a little time to think about it. I'm a coward. I thought I had helped them, but it wasn't enough. I couldn't give them what they needed, so I got scared. Don't come back for me because I'm a coward. He tries to make his way, but it's risky. He jumps over them to a steep place, tries to stop slipping, and sees a sign and a knife. He picks it up, kills an undead, and picks up the signboard for his martial art. He says, "Those boxes aren't helping anyone and are rotting on roads. You were wrong." He keeps going until he finds their truck on the bridge. He told them the wrong path. They went ahead 200 miles to catch his lie. Wandell says, "Do you really think going back to Texas will help anyone?" Morgan says, "Just like that man placed these boxes without knowing if it'll help, I'll do the same." Sarah wants to pick up some people behind. Morgan says they will take him to Virginia and will stop at some spots on the way. They get going, placing boxes at signboards. Wandell places one. Jimbo puts one along with his beer bottle. Morgan is looking for that woman on the radio he heard back in Mississippi, and she has heard him.